Yes, radiant heating system components, including pumps, supply and return piping, can be installed in an electrical closet. However, specific space requirements and considerations must be addressed to ensure safety and proper operation. According to the National Electrical Code Section 408.3 bone, a minimum clearance of 6 inches, or 152.4 mm, is required between the face of the electrical panel and any equipment or materials installed in the same enclosure. This clearance is crucial for preventing accidental contact with live electrical parts and ensuring sufficient working space during maintenance or repairs. National Electrical Code Section 408.3b2 states that if the electrical panel is located in a closet or confined space, there must be at least 30 inches, or 762 mm, of width and 36 inches, or 914.4 mm, of depth in front of the panel. This space is essential for providing adequate access for electricians to safely work on the panel without obstruction. In addition to the National Electrical Code requirements, radiant heating system manufacturers may specify additional clearance requirements for their equipment. It is important to consult the manufacturer's instructions for specific clearance needs, as these can vary depending on the design and functionality of the heating system. Beyond the space requirements, several other factors must be considered when installing radiant heating components in an electrical closet. Firstly, ventilation is crucial to prevent overheating of the radiant heating components. Electrical closets are often small and enclosed, which can lead to a buildup of heat. Adequate ventilation helps to dissipate heat and maintain a safe operating temperature for both the electrical equipment and the heating system. Secondly, the components should be easily accessible for maintenance and repair. Regular maintenance is necessary to ensure the proper functioning of the radiant heating system, and easy access allows technicians to perform inspections, repairs, and replacements without difficulty. Thirdly, if the radiant heating system produces condensate, it must be properly drained to prevent moisture buildup in the electrical closet. Moisture can damage electrical components and create a safety hazard. Proper drainage ensures that condensate is removed from the closet and disposed of safely. Fourthly, radiant heating components should be installed according to all applicable fire safety codes. Fire safety is a critical concern in any electrical installation, and adherence to fire codes helps to minimize the risk of fire and ensure the safety of the building occupants. Fifthly, all electrical work must be performed in accordance with the National Electrical Code and local building codes. The National Electrical Code provides comprehensive guidelines for electrical installations, and compliance with these guidelines helps to ensure the safety and reliability of the electrical system. To ensure proper installation and compliance with all applicable codes and regulations, it is recommended to follow a specific procedure. Firstly, consult with a licensed electrician and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician to determine the feasibility and compliance with codes. A qualified electrician and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician can assess the specific requirements of the installation and ensure that all codes and regulations are met. Secondly, plan the layout of the electrical closet to ensure sufficient clearance around the electrical panels. Proper planning can help to avoid potential conflicts and ensure that all equipment is installed in a safe and accessible manner. Thirdly, install the radiant heating components, pumps, and piping according to the manufacturer's instructions and applicable codes. Following the manufacturer's instructions is essential for ensuring the proper functioning of the equipment and avoiding potential problems. Fourthly, ensure proper ventilation and access to the components. Adequate ventilation and easy access are crucial for maintaining the safety and efficiency of the installation. Fifthly, obtain electrical and mechanical inspections to confirm compliance and safety. Inspections by qualified professionals can help to identify any potential problems and ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. In summary, while it is possible to install radiant heating system components in an electrical closet, it is essential to adhere to specific space requirements, ventilation guidelines, and fire safety codes. Consulting with qualified professionals and obtaining necessary inspections can help to ensure a safe and compliant installation. The National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and best practices. The National Electrical Code is adopted by many states and local jurisdictions in the United States, and it is used as a basis for electrical codes in other countries. Understanding the relevant sections of the National Electrical Code is crucial for anyone involved in electrical work. Section 408 covers switchboards, switchgear, and panel boards. These are essential components of electrical distribution systems, and they must be installed and maintained in accordance with the National Electrical Code to ensure safety and reliability. Section 408.3 specifically addresses working space and clearance requirements for electrical equipment. These requirements are designed to provide adequate space for electricians to safely work on electrical equipment without obstruction. The minimum clearance requirements vary depending on the voltage of the equipment and the presence of exposed live parts. In addition to the National Electrical Code, local building codes may also impose specific requirements for electrical installations. It is important to check with the local building department to determine the applicable codes and regulations in a particular area. Failure to comply with the National Electrical Code and local building codes can result in fines, penalties, and even legal action. It can also create a safety hazard that could lead to injury or property damage. Therefore, it is essential to ensure that all electrical work is performed by qualified professionals who are familiar with the applicable codes and regulations. Ventilation is a critical consideration for electrical closets because electrical equipment generates heat. If the heat is not properly dissipated, it can cause the equipment to overheat and malfunction. Overheating can also reduce the lifespan of electrical components and increase the risk of fire. Adequate ventilation helps to remove heat from the electrical closet and maintain a safe operating temperature for the equipment. There are several ways to provide ventilation for an electrical closet. One option is to install a ventilation fan that draws air from the closet and exhausts it to the outside. Another option is to provide natural ventilation by installing vents in the walls or doors of the closet. The size and number of vents required will depend on the size of the closet and the amount of heat generated by the equipment. In addition to ventilation, it is also important to ensure that the electrical closet is properly insulated. Insulation helps to prevent heat from escaping the closet and warming up the surrounding areas. This can be particularly important in climates where it is necessary to conserve energy. The type of insulation used should be appropriate for the climate and the type of construction. Access to electrical components is essential for maintenance and repair. Electrical equipment requires regular maintenance to ensure that it is functioning properly. Maintenance tasks may include cleaning, tightening connections, and replacing worn parts. If the electrical equipment is not easily accessible, it can be difficult to perform these maintenance tasks. This can lead to neglected maintenance and increased risk of equipment failure. In addition to maintenance, access is also important for repairs. If electrical equipment malfunctions, it may be necessary to repair or replace it. If the equipment is not easily accessible, it can be difficult to perform these repairs. This can lead to prolonged downtime and increased costs. There are several ways to ensure that electrical components are easily accessible. One option is to provide adequate space around the equipment. This allows technicians to move freely and perform maintenance and repairs without obstruction. Another option is to install access panels or doors that allow technicians to reach the equipment without having to remove other components. The location and size of access panels should be carefully considered to ensure that they provide adequate access to the equipment. Fire safety is a paramount concern in any electrical installation. Electrical equipment can be a source of ignition, and fires can spread quickly if not properly contained. There are several measures that can be taken to reduce the risk of fire in an electrical closet. One measure is to use fire-resistant materials for the walls, ceiling, and floor of the closet. Fire-resistant materials can help to contain a fire and prevent it from spreading to other areas of the building. Another measure is to install a fire suppression system in the closet. Fire suppression systems can automatically detect and extinguish fires, minimizing damage and preventing the fire from spreading. The type of fire suppression system used should be appropriate for the type of electrical equipment in the closet. In addition to fire-resistant materials and fire suppression systems, it is also important to follow safe electrical practices. This includes avoiding overloading circuits, using properly grounded outlets, and regularly inspecting electrical equipment for damage. By following safe electrical practices, it is possible to significantly reduce the risk of fire in an electrical closet. Electrical code compliance is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. Electrical codes are developed by organizations such as the National Fire Protection Association and the International Code Council. These codes provide guidelines for the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. Compliance with electrical codes is typically required by law. Building departments and other regulatory agencies enforce electrical codes to ensure that electrical installations are safe and meet minimum standards. Failure to comply with electrical codes can result in fines, penalties, and even legal action. There are several steps that can be taken to ensure electrical code compliance. One step is to hire a qualified electrician who is familiar with the applicable codes. A qualified electrician can ensure that the electrical installation meets all code requirements. Another step is to obtain the necessary permits and inspections. Building departments typically require permits for electrical work. Inspections are conducted to verify that the electrical installation meets code requirements. By following these steps, it is possible to ensure that an electrical installation is code compliant and safe. Consulting with a licensed electrician and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician is crucial for determining the feasibility of installing radiant heating components in an electrical closet. A licensed electrician can assess the electrical system and ensure that it can safely accommodate the additional load imposed by the radiant heating components. The electrician can also determine whether any modifications to the electrical system are necessary to meet code requirements. A heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician can assess the heating and cooling needs of the space and determine whether radiant heating is an appropriate solution. The technician can also design the radiant heating system to ensure that it provides adequate heating without overheating the electrical equipment. By consulting with both a licensed electrician and a heating, ventilation, and air conditioning technician, it is possible to develop a safe and effective solution for installing radiant heating components in an electrical closet. Planning the layout of the electrical closet is essential for ensuring that there is sufficient clearance around the electrical panels. The National Electrical Code requires a minimum amount of working space around electrical panels to allow electricians to safely work on the equipment. The amount of working space required depends on the voltage of the equipment and the presence of exposed live parts. In addition to the National Electrical Code requirements, it is also important to consider the accessibility of the electrical panels. The panels should be located in a place where they can be easily reached for maintenance and repairs. By carefully planning the layout of the electrical closet, it is possible to ensure that there is sufficient clearance around the electrical panels and that the panels are easily accessible. Installing the radiant heating components, pumps, and piping according to the manufacturer's instructions is essential for ensuring the proper functioning of the system. The manufacturer's instructions provide detailed information on how to install the equipment correctly. Following these instructions will help to avoid problems such as leaks, overheating, and premature failure. In addition to following the manufacturer's instructions, it is also important to comply with all applicable codes and regulations. Electrical and plumbing codes may impose specific requirements for the installation of radiant heating components, pumps, and piping. By following the manufacturer's instructions and complying with all applicable codes and regulations, it is possible to ensure that the radiant heating system is installed correctly and will function properly. Ensuring proper ventilation and access to the components is essential for maintaining the safety and efficiency of the installation. Adequate ventilation helps to prevent overheating of the electrical equipment and the radiant heating components. Overheating can damage the equipment and increase the risk of fire. Access to the components is essential for maintenance and repairs. Regular maintenance is necessary to ensure that the system is functioning properly. If repairs are needed, it is important to be able to easily access the components. By ensuring proper ventilation and access to the components, it is possible to maintain the safety and efficiency of the installation. Obtaining electrical and mechanical inspections to confirm compliance and safety is crucial for ensuring that the installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. Electrical inspections are conducted by qualified inspectors to verify that the electrical wiring and equipment are installed correctly and safely. Mechanical inspections are conducted by qualified inspectors to verify that the radiant heating components, pumps, and piping are installed correctly and safely. By obtaining electrical and mechanical inspections, it is possible to identify any potential problems and ensure that the installation is code compliant and safe.